The Austin Road Show continuing on a Thursday afternoon. Our exclusive interview with Matt Monroe, former morning weatherman at WJBF News Channel 6, 14 years, and he was called into the office back in June and told that was it. Now, Matt, I'm going to be about as frank with you as I can be here, and I appreciate the candor that you and I have had talking about this over the last several months. I actually got in touch with you. I heard that you had been told that you weren't going to be around much longer, and I guess I contacted you, late June, something like that? Early July?
Maybe July.
And I said, how do you want to handle this, Matt? Because this is going to be a big news story. And I don't think you believed me. I think you thought that you were going to leave quietly and no one was going to pay much attention unless you brought great attention to it, which you didn't do. And by the way, you're to be commended for that. I think you've been about as classy in this situation as an individual can be expected to be. But I don't think you had any earthly idea what kind of response you were going to get.
I figured there'd be a ripple or two. I figured, 14 years, that's a long time. I thought I did a pretty good job. I thought I was, fairly well liked. I never got too many complaints other than when I called for flurries and it snowed 6 inches at one time. But, once or twice you're going to get it wrong. Certainly not perfect. But I thought there'd be, a few phone calls and a few emails and, life would roll on. And life is rolling on. The world keeps spinning. It's not, some huge, earth-shaking event. Certainly not an earthquake in Virginia or a hurricane in the Northeast, but it definitely got a lot more and continues to get a much larger response than I ever anticipated.
Well, you got a double whammy here going. Number one, you were on an incredibly popular news segment. I mean, you were number one for a long, long time. And we have social media these days that allows people to respond in a way that you never really had before.
Sure.
I was racking my brain trying to remember someone in television leaving that has created the kind of street buzz that this has. And the last person I can remember that created this kind of rhubarb when they left was Charlie Britt. And trust me, that was a whole different matter.
Yeah,
years ago.
Please don't. Please,
But
yeah,
no,
just let's
but
leave it at that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. And I want to say this very clearly.
No rumors, Austin. No rumors.
Had social media been around back in those days, I don't think he'd have lost his job. At least not for that reason.
No,
because and we're talking about that horrible rumor that went around about Charlie, which was complete BS.
Well, from what I heard the story from. I'm not going to say the source, but a very, very reputable source. And I don't know Charlie Britt. Yeah. I have never met the man. I hear he's still around town, but
he is. Yeah.
But from what I understand, that was complete garbage. It was just
it was, and I
it was just a rumor, and it ruined him.
It
absolutely ruined the poor guy.
I have never seen anything more bizarre in my life. And I knew from the very beginning it wasn't true, but management at Channel 12 had no idea how to handle it.
Right,
and beyond that. We were being consistently beaten in the ratings, and a lot of it was put on Charlie. I don't know whether that was the real case or not, but I mean, you had two very, very popular anchors sitting on either side of him, and Sam Crenshaw and Bob Smith.
Right,
and they both worked at 12 for many years after that. But if Charlie had been on the air in the time of Facebook and Twitter and all whatnot, I don't think there's any way he loses his job. And I'll add to that the Austin Road Show, because the instant I heard something like that about an anchor, I would have been on it like white on rice.
Sure.
And
squelching it. Yeah,
calling out people that would dare to repeat the lie.
Right.
Here's the thing about you. There's not a rumor about you. There's not a story about you. The only issue is, what in the heck is Channel 6 hiding in an effort to make this move? What agenda do they have? What possible problem could they have with you that would result in, we can say it's a contract expiration, but they made the decision.
It's a firing. It's a firing.
Yeah,
sure. I was fired, and there's no shame in being fired. I'll admit it. I was fired for no reason, but I was. They'll call it a contract non-renewal, but it's I'm unemployed, so it's a firing to me.
Well, they've had conversations with people that have called me and told me, and I've had conversations with a few of those folks, and I said at the very beginning when I sat down, or when I talked to them, I said, I'm not going to quote you on the air on this, but I need to know a few things about the ending, and I'm being told we have to take a break. So we will do that, and we'll be back getting to the heart of this with Matt Monroe, former weather guy from News Channel 6. Stay with us. I'm really amazed, given your popularity in the building over there, because even the people that made the decision to let you go, the ones that I've talked to, all love you. So this is a very strange thing. I'm surprised they didn't, shake the bushes throughout all of Media General and get you another job. And we would not be having this conversation. It would have been Matt Monroe, bless his heart, is moving on to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Poughkeepsie, or wherever.
Sure, yeah.
And and we would not be having this conversation.
Right.
I can tell you one thing: the couple folks I've talked to over there, they're taking notes on this thing because they have royally screwed the moose, and they know they have. And letting go a beloved figure like yourself with absolutely no severance package given to you, nothing other than the time that you worked and your vacation that you earned. Now you told me, I'm assuming that's solid. That
is solid.
You were only given what you were
correct. There was a severance. It was 2 Slinkies, 2 Channel 6 mugs, 2 George Said It What umbrellas.
That is horrible.
And I gave this stuff to friends. Actually, I don't have the stuff, but that was my. And actually, I got that because I asked for it. They actually did. It wasn't actually a care package. I had some folks that wanted some Slinkies and some mugs and a couple umbrellas, so I kind of scored that on my way out the door.
What in the world?
And I gave it away.
Where did these people go to PR school? I mean, seriously.
I don't think they went to school, Austin. I don't want to throw darts at anybody, but I don't think they went to PR school because I don't know. I've got a marketing degree, so I went to PR school.
You can can Austin Rhodes and half the world will love you. I mean, you're going to get a party somewhere. Nobody likes what happened to you. Even your competitors are walking around shaking their head saying, are they crazy over there?
Well, I don't know.
I've talked to them. I mean, it's amazing. And it's a very, very strange situation. Well,
I've been shaking my head since June, so this isn't really new news to me. I kind of shook my head in Oklahoma City for about 7 days straight, and then came back and just went to work. That's kind of how I handled it.
Well, I guess the good news is you got to network a little bit while you were in Oklahoma City. A
little bit, yeah.
All the other weather guys. Now you again get told this and immediately start planning in your own mind and head. You've decided, to the best of your ability, you would like to stay in Augusta.
Yes.
But you don't know what you're going to do yet.
I'm working on it.
By the way, if anybody wants to get in touch with Matt, he is on Facebook, and you can send him notes through Facebook. And if you want to be his friend, I guess I don't know how many friends you got, but you can quickly run out of spaces if you're not careful. But they can always send you a message through Facebook. It's a good way to send a little email that way.
And just to say thank you to all the folks that have messaged me and have posted in my support. I can't thank you enough. I've got literally maybe 75 messages, still personal messages that I have not answered. But
there have been hundreds of postings on your board.
Yeah, I can't answer. I can't even read all the postings. I can't get to all the Facebook.
Read most of them though.
I'm trying.
I'm trying. Mother is too.
My mom and dad. Yeah, mom doesn't even Facebook. Mom doesn't know how to turn on a computer. Mom, if you're listening, please learn how to turn on a computer because when Pop goes, you're in trouble.
I thought has she been looking over your dad's shoulder?
Yeah. My father actually kind of say, "Hey, honey, look at this," and they'll kind of read some posts and some of the kind messages together. But yeah, Mom doesn't actually know how to Facebook.
Wow.
She literally doesn't know how to turn the computer on, and I keep egging her on. Please, Mom. If Dad ever goes before you do, you're not going to be able to do anything.
She's afraid to turn it on because there might be a fire.
It could be a fire. Yeah. We're just kidding, Mom. Mom, we're just kidding.
Jay Leno used to tell that story about his parents. He would adjust the VCR every time he was over at the house, and he would come back over, and that little light would be blinking every time. And he said, what in the world's going on here? And said, well, we unplug it at night. Why? There might be a fire. Well, getting back to this very serious issue, you had to be pretty angry.
I was stunned first, more than angry. Yeah, I was sort of disillusioned next. Tried to do the best I could, and it still wasn't good enough for whatever reason. And sure, out in Oklahoma City, when I was out there in June, it was 102 every day and 30-mile-an-hour winds morning, noon, and night. So I'd just take walks and let the 30-mile-an-hour winds blow through my hair, and that kind of calmed me down a little bit. So I got a lot of the kinks out of my psyche in Oklahoma City, and I was ready to come back to work that following Monday. So it was, anger doesn't do a whole lot of good. It's not productive. It's not going to help me. So I've actually, sure, there have been some angry moments, but I haven't thrown anything. I haven't kicked the walls. It's a job. Life goes on. As I say, it's not a hurricane. It's not an earthquake. It's a job, and I'll get another one.
I'm going to say something to you that I hope doesn't throw you, and I hope you don't get mad with me for saying this. But I'm I'm a news guy at heart, and I have to ask you the tough questions.
You're not going to pick on my hair, are you?
No. Yeah, perfect hair, by the way.
Thank you. It is real, by the way.
It is. I can sit here and tell you it's real.
Yeah, it is real.
Bought and paid for. Yeah.
Exactly.
You had a producer at 6 that worked with you for a while, and she left not long ago. And she says that this entire thing is because Matt Monroe and Mary Morrison did not work well together, and that they asked you to do certain things and that you wouldn't do them or couldn't do them, at which time I replied back to the person I was having the conversation with, well, what about Mary? And the word back was, they don't tell Mary what to do. Kind of reminds me of WGAC and Austin Rhodes, or at least the rumor about me. Trust me, they tell me, they try and tell me what to do.
Right.
But I do listen on constructive criticism all day long.
Sure.
But is that true, Matt? Did you and Mary not get along?
Mary and I have never had an argument. Mary and I have never had a fight. Mary and I don't barbecue.
Okay,
we don't.
Matt,
we don't.
hold on a second.
Yeah, we don't get together
Matt,
after the show.
Hold on a second. You're talking like your hair looks, which is slick and beautiful and manicured. But I don't fight with Charles Walker.
Right.
But we ain't buddies, and we're not going to barbecue, and we don't talk.
Right.
I was told point blank that during a morning newscast, the average morning newscast, that when the red light would come on, you guys would talk to each other and play nice on TV. But when the light went off, that was the end of the smiles.
Isn't there a similar story about Andy Griffith and Aunt B? Didn't they do the same?
Aunt B was that way with a lot of the people on the set because she was very clean and everybody was potty mouth.
Oh, okay,
in LA.
okay,
But,
okay.
So are you basically saying that that's the case?
Well, I mean, I will say when the light went on, we were, extremely professional, and we did our jobs to the fullest and best. I did my best. She did her best. I think the product was, as far as a show, was fine. We were still winning. As far as being buddies, Mary's a little bit older than me. We don't have a tremendous amount in common. But as far as Mary disliking me or me disliking Mary, that is not true. We were not the chummiest off the air, but that doesn't mean we weren't doing our jobs correctly.
No, there's no doubt that, especially you, were doing your job. I mean, there's no doubt about that, Matt. But there has to be a reason, and I'm, again, somebody that worked with you and that left because she didn't like Mary, just being honest.
You're talking about the producer?
Yeah.
The producer that left?
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, am I right? I mean,
I don't want to put words in the mouth of the producer.
What I'm saying is, am I saying something that you've never heard before?
No.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure everybody understood. I know where I'm coming from on this.
Okay.
And by the way, I appreciate your chivalry and your professionalism. But this is like looking at a train wreck or the Hindenburg on the ground and wondering, okay, now at one point it was up there in the sky and that's a beautiful thing. Now look at it on the ground. What the hell happened? And you're not cutting anybody's throat by explaining it. If you want to. People want to hear this. People want to know why 6 cut you out of this. And if there was a problem between the two of you, why the hell didn't they get her too? Or why didn't they keep you and let her go?
These are
way many years in front of you as a productive broadcaster than she does. Not against her at all. She's just a lot older than you are.
Sure. These are, I mean, you're asking me questions that I'm not trying to avoid them, but I've been kicking these around since June in Oklahoma City with the wind whipping through my hair. I have no idea. Apparently, the gentleman that made this decision made it on his own. He never spoke to me about it. He never came to me once and talked to me about it.
Who was that person?
I won't mention his name, but the GM of Channel 6.
Bill Stewart. I'll mention his name. No, these people are well known, and you're not throwing anybody.
I don't want to throw darts at anybody here. It's not my intent on being here.
But hey, we got a general manager here who makes all kind of unpopular decisions. He just killed an entire radio station. I mean, that's you talking about getting hate mail. I mean, and these are from people that say dirty words and know how to spell them. I mean, they're not kind-hearted people that want to hug your neck. These are people that want to hunt down our GM and Beat him to death. So your general manager, Bill Stewart, made the decision to cut you loose. And again, I have to ask, why you and not her?
I don't know. I just simply don't know. I honestly don't know. And it's, to the best of my knowledge, the other managers and the television consultants tried to talk him out of it, and he wouldn't listen.
Tried to talk him out of it?
That's what I heard. That's what a source told me at Channel 6, and he just wouldn't listen.
We're going to wrap things up with Matt Monroe. You know more now than he did before, and you're probably not happy about it. We'll be right back.